Hi everyone, and welcome to another story time with the BSM. My name is Amy, and this week we are reading a story called Raheem and His Magic Shoes. It is written by Jawad Tariq. Raheem loved to play basketball. He loved to dribble, he loved to shoot, he loved to pass, and he especially loved to run up and down the court. One morning, as Raheem was walking to school, he saw his gym teacher posting a sign reading, "Basketball team tryouts." Raheem got excited and just couldn't wait to show off his skills at the tryouts. As Raheem was getting ready, he noticed that there was a big hole in the bottom of his right shoe. He asked his grandmother if he could get a brand new pair. His grandmother promised him that she would take him shoe shopping after school. The next day, Raheem and his grandmother went to the mall. As soon as they entered, Raheem zoomed off towards the shoe department. Raheem ran up to the basketball shoe section and began to admire all the shoes on the wall. There were red shoes, green shoes, some that lit up, some that had sound, and some that even spoke to you. Raheem asked, "Grandma, can I please get these?" He was already holding up a pair of shoes that lit up. His grandmother pointed him towards a bin full of shoes. "Why don't we look at the shoes inside that bin, Raheem?" said grandmother. Raheem walked over to the bin and held up one of the shoes. He placed it next to his ear and said, "No sound." He turned the shoe over and under and said, "No lights." He spoke to the shoe and said, "It doesn't talk." His grandmother looked at him and said, "Raheem, these shoes are special." Raheem responded, "What's so special about these, Grandma?" "These shoes are magical," said his grandmother. Raheem looked puzzled and asked, "But they don't do anything special, Grandma. What's so magical about them?" Grandmother replied, "These shoes can help you make the basketball team, but only if you practice in them every day." Raheem didn't look too happy, but he decided to give them a try. The next couple of weeks, Raheem practiced in his new shoes. He dribbled the basketball with his left hand, then his right hand, through his legs and around his back. One day, while practicing on the basketball court, he met his friends Iman and Raul. Iman ran over and high-fived Raheem. "Hi, Raheem. Are you going to try out for the basketball team?" she asked. Raheem smiled, looked down at his magical new shoes and said, "I sure am, Iman." Raul looked down at Raheem's shoes and laughed. "I hope you aren't trying out in those shoes. They don't do anything special like mine." Raheem looked over at Rahul's feet and felt sad. He began to tear up and ran home. He ran to his grandmother and hugged her tightly. "My shoes aren't magical. They don't do anything special, and I will never make the basketball team with them on," Raheem sobbed. Raheem's grandmother hugged him and said, "Remember what I said? As long as you keep practicing in these shoes, they will become magical." Raheem wiped his tears and slowly began to smile. The big day had arrived. Raheem got dressed, packed his bag, and before he could run out the door, his grandmother said, "Raheem, you forgot to eat your breakfast." Raheem quickly ate his breakfast and caught his bus to school. Raheem stepped onto the basketball court in his favorite jersey and his special magical shoes. He was nervous and excited at the same time. As he stepped onto the court, the gym teacher passed him the ball and he began to dribble. He bounced it through his legs and around the defenders, took a shot, and the basketball went swish into the net. He kept on making baskets throughout the tryouts. The coach was impressed. He walked over and asked Raheem, "Would you like to join the basketball team?" Raheem screamed, "Yes!" Raheem ran home to share the good news that his magical shoes were in fact magical. "Grandma! Grandma! Grandma!" Raheem yelled. "What is it, Raheem?" asked his grandmother. "The shoes worked. They are magical. The coach asked me to join the team." His grandmother came over and hugged him. "That's wonderful news, Raheem. I knew you could do it. But I have to share a secret with you," she said as she looked at him with a warm smile. Raheem looked up at his grandmother and asked, "What's that?" "The magic was in you and not your shoes." Raheem looked puzzled. "You practiced in those shoes day in, day out, before you went for your tryouts. Your shoes weren't the reason you made the team. It was your hard work, Raheem." Raheem laughed. "I guess you're right, Grandma." The next day at practice, Amal and Raul came to Raheem and said, "We are wearing magical shoes too, Raheem." Raheem smiled and said, "Let's start practicing." Thank you so much for joining us for another week of Storytime at the BSM. We hope you join us next time.